The civil rights movement, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with, occurring throughout the 1950s and 1960s in America, was a group of social movements where people, namely the African Americans, sought to end racial discrimination and prejudice in America. Throughout this time, there were various protests, such as the Woolsworth protest, in which a group of African Americans sat in at a diner and essentially peacefully protested their refusal of service. Now, after this, there were many laws placed that sought to eliminate racial discrimination in businesses, as they had to provide service to all their customers regardless of race, gender, or religion. Now, with all these laws, you would naturally assume that there can no longer be any prejudice or discrimination in workplace or businesses. However, thanks to a recently found loophole in legislation, your assumption would be wrong. In 2012, there was a court case, the Burwell versus Hobby Lobby court case. In this, Hobby Lobby used a recently passed federal law. That law was the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, passed in 1993, that sought to ensure religious freedom protection. However, essentially used as a shield, it was originally used to protect all religious freedoms. However, the Hobby Lobby court case took this shield and turned it into a sword, and it was used as a weapon to destroy religious freedom. The Hobby Lobby court case ended up in favor of Hobby Lobby, and it was decided that they did not need to comply with federal law to provide all necessary birth control contraceptions to its employees. This is dangerous because it goes in direct descent of a former court case, United States versus Lee, that originally stated, when followers of a particular sect enter into commercial activity as a matter of choice, the limits they accept on their own conduct as a matter of conscience and faith are not to be superimposed on the statutory schemes which are binding on others in that activity. However, as we know, to the Hobby Lobby court case, in that ruling, that it affects the employees, which may or may not have the same religious beliefs as the employers. In essence, it empowers the powerful and completely eliminates the weak. Now, this decision did not come without protest. Women and men took to the streets saying that a store, such as a craft store, is not a church, and the Bible, which they're using in their defense, is not a health plan, and that no company should be able to decide their healthcare. Now, recently, with the passing of this law, it has transferred into other businesses and not just healthcare. In Detroit of this year, August 2016, there was a federal case in which a funeral care home fired a transgender employee on the grounds of their religious belief, and the federal court could not do anything to stop it and said it was completely within the rights of the funeral home. Now, there has also been an influx of activity within federal courts where businesses are coming to them and saying they refuse to take care of people of the gay community, or that they refuse to serve people of the gay community. This is dangerous because it is said in a brief of another court case that if religious motivation exempted businesses from anti-discrimination laws, our government would be powerless to enforce those laws. Now, as a member of the U.S. court who was a part of the Hobby Lobby court case, on the losing side of a 5-4 decision, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg believes that the court has created a minefield in America, and she questions, when will this end? Will it end if religious beliefs have an issue with paying minimum wage, or providing vaccines, or even paying women equal pay to men. Now, with racial tensions at an all-time high, thanks to presidential-elect Donald Trump and his following, as well as a Republican majority in both the House and the Senate, as well as a 57% Republican who support or oppose state laws, which they all support, that allow businesses to refuse their customers on the grounds of religious beliefs. Thanks to this and new judicial and political outcomes in the future, we may be seeing our second civil rights movement in America. Thank you.